it's Karen, and I'm back again with another sequence for you today. What we're going to be working on today is the backlift. The backlift is a sequence of movements that have been broken down, and then we'll put them back together to create the backlift, which is going to address the green light reflex in the somatic practice. The green light pattern is characterized by a strong contraction of the back extensors, the external rotators of the limbs, so the arm bones externally rotated, the shoulder blades drawn back towards each other, the spine is extended, the leg bones externally rotated. Oftentimes we'll have those turned out duck feet when we're in that green light reflex. It's our call to action reflex, and if it's really strong, all that chronic contraction makes it a lot harder for our bodies to move functionally. So I'll meet you down on the floor and we'll address that backlift. So come down onto the floor, onto your tummy. Some of us aren't always all that comfortable on our belly, so we might need to use the support of a bolster, not a bolster. We might need to use the support of a blanket underneath the tummy. So what you can do is place a blanket underneath the belly, sort of between the pelvis and the lower ribs, and then you can come onto that and bring your arms up and under the forehead and bring your forehead down onto the back of the hands. So I'm hoping my voice isn't going to be muffled too much here. I'm going to start off here with both hands under your forehead. You're just going to bring your forehead down onto the back of the hands and just spend a few moments just breathing. Noticing how your breath moves into your body, feeling the expansion that occurs in the lower body. And then to begin to start coming into the prep for the backlift, you take your left arm. I'm going to do the opposite here. You're going to use your left arm down by your side, so your palm arm comes down. And then you're going to take your right hand, it stays where it is. You're going to turn your head so that, and I'm going to take my glasses off. You either turn your head so that the back of the forehead or the side of the forehead rests on the hand, or the cheekbone, whichever is the best position. And if it really is uncomfortable to have your arm up that high, you can just have your head on the floor. Again, you could use a prop like a blanket to support your head. There's lots of options. Just don't work in pain, so we want to make sure we find a comfortable position first. So the backlift starts by just beginning to take the right elbow off the floor. As you lift that right elbow off the floor, you're going to feel your shoulder blades start to move back towards your spine, and then you're going to slowly let that contraction release, bringing the elbow back down to the floor. Make sure you let it go completely, and then repeating that movement 2 more times. Contracting, lifting the elbow, slowly lowering it down, letting it go completely, and 1 more time. Breathing easily throughout. Make sure you let it go completely. And then the next movement is going to be taking the head off the hand, the elbow stays down. You lift your head as if you're going to be looking over your right shoulder. And then you slowly let the head come back down, looking towards that right elbow. Again, lifting, looking over that right shoulder, slowly lowering it back down. Make sure you let go of everything. Let the weight of the head settle down to the floor, and then repeat that 3rd time. Again, slowly releasing. And then we'll combine those 2 movements. So you're going to allow the head and the hand to stay in contact, And then you're going to lift the elbow, the hand, and the head. They all come up off the floor as you look over that right shoulder. Slowly beginning to lower it back down. Letting it go completely, including the left buttock. And then again on your lift, you might notice that the left buttock wants to assist that lift, which is a natural movement pattern. So if it feels right for you to invite that left leg into the lift, you have a couple of options. You can start with the knee bent and lift the thigh off the floor, which is a little less load on the lower back, and then lower it down completely. Letting go in the neck, the shoulder, the arm, the leg, the buttock. And then you could also lift with a fully extended leg. Coming up, feel that cross pattern contraction on the back, and then slowly lowering all the way down. Try one more lift, breathing easily. And a slow release back down to the floor. Once you've released completely, go ahead and bring your left hand back up. Bring the forehead back to the back of the hands, and then just take another couple of breaths here. Notice what you're aware of from the left hip to the right shoulder. And then we'll repeat that back lift on the opposite side. So you'll be bringing your right arm down to your side. You turn your head to look towards your left elbow. So I'm going to be doing the opposite again just for the visual. So you're going to be starting to lift the left elbow. Feel that contraction of the blade. Slowly letting it go. Letting it go completely. And then repeating that movement 2 times. And don't rush it. The slower you go, the more your brain has to be aware of what you're doing. We're getting the sensory cortex involved in resetting the tone of those chronically contracted muscles. Once you've repeated that 3 times, then we're going to take the head as if you're going to look over that left shoulder and then slowly lowering it back down. And lifting again 2 more times. And releasing slowly, slowly, slowly. And when you're ready to go for the full lift, it's the hand, the elbow, and the head that come up off of the floor. And you might notice the opposite buttock wants to assist that lift. If it feels okay, let the leg hover off the floor, and then you come back down. Again, you have the option of bending the leg so that your lift has a little less load. So you don't want to overload the body. Work in your range where you're not gripping or bracing. You feel and sense the contraction on the back side of the body. And then you slowly release it and let it come back down to the mat. And when you've completed the 3rd one, you turn your head back to center. And then pause for a few breaths. And from your back lift, we'll then go up onto your hands and knees, and bringing yourself into a tabletop. You can always do this in a chair if being on your hands and knees isn't a comfortable position for you. So because we've just taken the back into extension, we want to counterbalance that with a flexed position. So we're going to start to take the tailbone, tucking it under as if you're tucking your tail between your legs, and you're going to start to round the spine up one vertebrae at a time, dropping your head last. And then you're going to take your tailbone towards the sky. So you can lengthen your spine one vertebrae at a time, bringing it into extension and lifting the head last. This next time you go back into your cat, you're going to start to tuck the tailbone and then start to draw your hips back towards your heels. Notice where you get the first little hitch in your movement, where maybe you're moving into a bit of tension. Come back out a little bit. Take the tailbone back up towards the sky. And then tuck it under, slowly moving one vertebrae at a time, maybe coming back a little bit more. And then if there's still tension there, come back out. Take the tailbone up towards the sky, taking it under. We're going to slowly move backwards towards that cat towards that child's pose position. Coming back and forth slowly, so we don't just force through an area that's maybe really tight for you, and there's often this sense of just sucking it up. Oh, it's tight. We want to try to ease it on back so that we're finding a place of comfort as we come back, rounding the spine as we bring the hips towards the pelvis. So we just take that pandiculation, allowing the muscles of the back to lengthen gradually, and eventually getting yourself back and down. Forehead comes towards the floor. If it doesn't quite get there, feel free to stack your fists. You can widen the knees a little bit and bring your forehead towards the fists, the palms, or the floor. You always have the option to bring your arms down to your sides if you're not using them to support your head as well. And taking a few breaths here in that child's pose, in whatever position feels the most comfortable for you. And then from there you can come on up. Feel free to continue your practice with any of the other movements that you're familiar with from class, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.